The Christopher Lloyd action sequences definitely didn't pass the, like, oh, come on, this is dorky and stuff. Like, he's literally moving like an old man and stuff.
Drive-by movies, you're watching
Fresh releases.
My name's Blaze.
And my name is James.
And this week we're talking the brand new film, Nobody.
Who the are you?
Me? I'm nobody.
So before Godzilla vs. Kong, Nobody was the movie that was doing repeat box office viewings. It was like just solid, like just continuous weeks being at number one. We were a little late to the party. We still kind of are, but we just figured, let's give it a check out. It's been getting good reviews. We've been hearing good things. It's got Bob Odenkirk, you know, none other than Saul Goodman from the Breaking Bad and, of course, Better Call Saul. I was really excited to check this out. Blaze, what did you think of the movie?
So this film it's written by the same guy that wrote John Wick. It definitely has a lot of John Wick isms, a lot. I'm actually very interested to see if this is the beginning of like a John Wick universe, essentially, and maybe Bob Odenkirk's character from Nobody here will appear later in a John Wick movie. I have a feeling that that's definitely what this is ramping up to, and I think overall for me the film, I liked a lot of the comedic elements, but some and most of the action elements just were not passing the eye test for me.
I knew that I had to go to a whole nother level if I wanted to actually do the fighting and not get hurt.
Yeah, I'd say like the movie's like solid and a fun watch, but it's overall pretty forgetful just because the plot kind of has been done before, essentially. Like John Wick, of course, is the perfect example. I was like, what's gonna be his breaking point in this movie? And his breaking point is like just the idea that his daughter lost like a kitty bracelet and stuff. And because the movie started with him petting a kitten, I was like, oh my God, is this gonna be the same thing as John Wick? I had no idea actually that it was the same writer. I looked up the director just because I was like, oh, what has this director done? I haven't seen any of his previous movies, but I know he did Hardcore Henry, which was like considered a pretty fun action movie. Never got around to seeing it, but I was curious to see a full movie in like, you know, POV action style. Like that sounded like a great concept. I just never got around to seeing it, unfortunately. With this, though, I'd say it's very solidly well directed. It does have that John Wick feel, especially with like, you know, the Russian villains and stuff, and just like, oh, we just messed with the wrong person, but we're gonna see this out and stuff. And it's a fun movie overall, but just, yeah, I'd say it's a little bit forgetful for the most part. The action isn't anything groundbreaking, but damn, it sure is pretty damn entertaining, I'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun watch, but for me, like, I felt like there was just so many moments where Bob Odenkirk, like, his character is really funny. He's actually really entertaining. I thought he does a great job in the role, but when it came to him, like, specifically acting, and I'll bring up just the scene where he starts a fight with these 4 Russian thugs. The actual action and him moving around just feels, it does not pass the eye test. It doesn't feel like when you're watching John Wick and you're seeing Keanu in the first interaction where the people break into his house and he's beating up these thugs in the middle of the night, and it's just fluid and like it works. This, they make Bob Odenkirk up to be like this kind of like superhero. Like he can take punches to the face and getting stabbed. And John Wick, he does get hurt in some of the films, but I feel like I can believe it more than Bob Odenkirk, this dad, where he's getting stabbed and still able to fight. And his punches sometimes were, I don't know, like his punches they almost seem like either too rehearsed or not rehearsed enough. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I'm not a choreographer, but they just didn't pass the eye test.
Yeah. I'd say actually kind of one of my main problems with Mortal Kombat was I forget what I was watching, but I remember watching like a review or something, and someone said like, oh, you know, the fatalities of that movie are very memorable, but the whole action sequences that lead up to the fatality feel kind of forgetful because none of the punches are like leading to cuts and blood and stuff. And that's one of the big things of Mortal Kombat. Granted, like, you know, a lot of those slashes would normally kill someone, so I get why they cut it out of Mortal Kombat. But with this movie, we're actually seeing people get stabbed, broken bones, but they still go into fighting literally right after and stuff. So for a movie that's like kind of played a little bit more realistic with this scenario, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more like reaction and stuff like, you know, like that bus sequence is fun, like we're mentioning, but like, you know, a lot of people are breaking bones and like getting stabbed, but they're still fighting and stuff. And it's a little like unrealistic at times. Bob Odenkirk gets shot in the shoulder at one point and kind of just brushes off like, oh damn, I got shot and stuff, like that sucks. And even RZA at one point gets shot too, and I'm like, oh god, is he gonna die? I'm like, no, bullets, like they're cool, you know, they're just an inconvenience in this scenario. Yeah.
This movie felt like it took everything that everyone loves about the John Wick films, but then also took everything or like similar things that films like superhero movies have and kind of melded them to one. So I do feel like this movie is perfect for a certain audience because people really enjoyed this movie. It made a ton of money at the box office for COVID standards, which is great. All that stuff is honestly great. But yeah, it just felt like for me, there were certain things that didn't quite work, but I was willing to let it go because I was having fun watching the movie. The movie is actually a really great thrill ride, and if this was like one of my first times back in the theater experience, I think this would have been a great film to kind of watch, and I could have let go a lot of the things, you know, that I didn't particularly love about the film, but I watched it at home. So I do like to kind of gripe about those things. And one of them was, I'm interested for you, did the whole twist of Bob Odenkirk's actual character of like the auditor, did that work for you? Or did you feel like I don't know about this?
For the most part, it did. I'm glad it wasn't like a secret assassination organization, because I easily could have tied this into like the John Wick universe or something. I mean, I loved the first John Wick movie. That's a very tight, like to the point movie, but does have like a universe that they were like kind of building within that movie with like the coins and stuff, a hotel where you're not allowed to murder fellow assassins and stuff. Like that was interesting, but they didn't go into crazy details. I like that this movie kind of avoids all that and stuff. It doesn't do anything. It's just like, you know, oh, it's just like works for a 3-letter company. He never says whether it's CIA or FBI. I know at one point he's using his dad's FBI badge and stuff, but like I did enjoy that. Like it was just kind of kept a little bit more simple and just like to the point and stuff. But yeah.
I guess where I'm coming from is I felt like his character, like there's this ticking moment where he kind of explodes and loses it. And you mentioned that moment, but also I feel like if he had the experience that his character has, because throughout the movie they do kind of show like his past life and the experience that he has, and he is like a trained almost not an assassin, but he is essentially like a trained killer. So he kind of gets into that, and I like the backstory of his character. I actually really liked all of that. I just didn't buy, after they kind of reveal that stuff, I definitely do not buy the fact that he's this kind of trying to be like a family man, and when people do invade his house and threaten the lives of himself as well as his family, I do not believe that he would just like kind of not stand up for his family and protect his family. Like that's the kind of twist where I think in the movie it made me realize, oh, that doesn't work at all. Like the whole beginning of the movie doesn't work because he clearly would fight. Like I know that they're trying to say that he wouldn't fight because he really valued his family, and the best way to go low key about it would be to not do anything. But his son was getting punched in the face by these robbers, and his son was putting up a fight, which really made him like he didn't have any cojones, you know?
Yeah. Like there was that contemplating moment where it looked like he was really going to swing and stuff, but then he just decided last moment not to. Like I was very surprised on that, but also like just like I wish there was more detail into that like family, like why'd they choose that house to rob and stuff, like and then also like why didn't I know that he was he was intending to get revenge on them, but the only thing that stopped them was just like the fact that they had a baby involved and stuff. So like I thought that like, oh, maybe, you know, they're working for, I like kind of was predicting the plot early on. I was like, oh, I bet they're like, you know, he's gonna let them go, but they're working for a big mob boss that they're trying to pay back, and he's gonna fight them and stuff. But then just the idea that like it starts with just that little thing, and then just like, oh, the wrong people got on the wrong bus and stuff. Because technically, those bus guys, they were being like annoying assholes. They were probably gonna start like, you know, verbally assaulting that girl, but it hadn't gotten there yet. They like, I think they made a comment at first, but I don't think they like said anything crude. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember them saying anything crude at least. But most likely they were going to be annoying and stuff. But like literally just like, they're like, oh, they're going to be annoying and stuff. They threw a book on the floor. Like they deserved that. I felt like, well, they deserved the beat down, but not so much getting killed. But like, was it going to escalate that far? I don't think so, technically. So yeah, like I was just trying to predict where the plot was going to go, and I was surprised, like, oh, this is it. Like it literally just escalated from a kitten bracelet that these people didn't have, and like, oh, he didn't want revenge on them because they were just desperate and stuff. And then he's like, I'm gonna take the bus back home, and like, oh, just the wrong people got on the bus, and oh, they happen to be related to the biggest crime lord in the city and stuff. Yeah,
I definitely like his character. Like, I thought it was a very interesting character compared to, like, I do enjoy the John Wick movies for the most part. I think my favorite one's obviously the first one. I don't really like how they made it so big now. Like, I like the action sequences and the choreography, but when it comes to the story, I really don't like how they've tried to make it like this, this like cool, like very unrealistic assassin underground stuff. Like, I just think that stuff is stupid and cheesy.
Especially when it's like the first, like this movie and the first one were 90-minute movies, and now we're getting 2.5 hour sequels and stuff. Like, you're overstaying your welcome at that point.
And a lot of it is just stupid story that's usually doesn't work. But I felt like this film did have, like, they're not plot holes. I know they're not. I know why the actions took place, but they just didn't pass. Like, I definitely doubted their realism. Like, this film tries to be a little bit more realistic, but I don't feel like a character that would have the skills and abilities that Bob Odenkirk's character would have would just let like their children and their family be in harm's way and not do anything about it. Right. Especially under some criminals that clearly don't have a clear head. Like, from his vision at that point, later on he finds out really what their reason is for everything. But it's just, some of the stuff didn't pass the eye test, and especially some of the action scenes. But overall, if you really just kind of turn your brain off, this is an awesome movie.
Yeah, fun little Christopher Lloyd cameo, I thought, and Rizal also was fun to see too. The Christopher Lloyd action sequences definitely didn't pass the like, oh come on, this is dorky and stuff. Like, he's literally moving like an old man and stuff. They're trying to. And
when he's shooting a shotgun 50 feet away to where it's not even gonna do anything.
Right. Yeah, it was hilarious, but that was fun and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'd say I'd recommend it for a fun 90-minute movie. Like, you're gonna forget about it and stuff, but I had fun watching this. Like, I literally was like paying attention the whole time. Never once looked at my phone. I was like, yeah, that was a solid 90 minutes watching from my couch and stuff. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet, like, do recommend like having fun with it. You can check it out through our Amazon affiliate link in our description box below. If you're also happen to be by a theater, it is still playing in theaters, I believe, so you can check it out that way too.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
Yeah, and if you haven't gotten enough of us here on YouTube, we are also on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Be sure to check all those out with our links down below. Anyways, guys, that's going to conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for brand new, fresh releases.